Okay, and we are live. We are live. We are live. Happy Sunday, everybody. It was really cool. I thought I actually already have a video prepared to drop a little bit later on for our 3 card reading, but because I've been getting so many communications from the animals lately, which I just love, I really just felt this stirring in my belly that we should have a spontaneous live and see what these animals have to tell us. So some of you may perhaps have seen the pictures of this adorable squirrel. Now, one thing I want to draw your attention to when you're out and about, notice the behavior of animals. If an animal that typically doesn't stop and chat, like a lot of cats and dogs will, for example, but most squirrels, they're really quick moving, they're scampery, they're boop boop. This cute little girl, well, she wasn't that little, stopped and said hello like she was ready to have a conversation. That is what animal spirit guides do. And when I asked her, can I take your picture? Mentally, I asked her. I didn't have to say it out loud. She stopped. She even turned. She waited, and I smiled at her, and I said, thank you so much, Mrs. Squirrel. And then she went on when I was ready to go on. This sort of thing will happen if you're open to it. And this sort of thing happens when we are able to quiet the chatter of our minds, which gets harder and harder to do once we are adults. Children tend to do this kind of thing naturally. They love it when animals are friendly and playful. And that's one thing the animals teach us, whether we're talking about our pets or friendly wildlife. They remind us to slow down and live in the present, because part of my journey in becoming an animal intuitive and an animal communicator has required me to get into the present moment, because that is how you can communicate, especially with wildlife. If your mind is running on a million things and not focused on what's in front of you, you're going to have a very hard time communicating with a deer, a raccoon. Never mind your own pets, that can be challenging too. But anyway, so because this adorable, cutest button squirrel was so friendly today, what I went ahead and did is I went home and grabbed my Power Animal Oracle cards deck, because I think Mrs. Squirrel was coming through as a power animal, and with the law of synchronicity, I did feel that not only did she have a message for me, but she's got a message for me to bring to lots of people, so I was super, super excited. And if you look at the message on this card, that's right in line with this big energy that I'm feeling. So, squirrel is an animal to give you a message about preparation, because that's what squirrels do when the weather's nice, especially in this kind of climate. They bury all those nuts. Is that not the cutest? Look at their tail. They bury all these nuts. They prepare for the winter months. And I love the message on this card. Get ready for big changes. Get ready for big changes. So I believe that is what Mrs. Squirrel was coming to tell me, and to give me to tell others. Prepare for big, positive, exciting changes. And depending on who you are, those changes could be different things. But the message that I can actually hear, there is a squirrel on the other side, a guide coming through. Love those animal spirit guides. Here is the message about the big changes. Whatever you've been working on manifesting for quite some time, fill in the blank. A new job, maybe renovating a room, starting an herb garden, changing your home, changing your social circle, whatever big changes you've been trying to manifest in your life, this summer and fall is when those big changes become manifest. So continue to prepare. Squirrels during the spring and the summer prepare. So prepare for that big harvest this season. Prepare for the changes to become manifest in your life, especially in a bit in the summer, but especially in the fall and the winter. And then we also had a jumper. And I love the word jumper when we're talking about a frog, yeah, because they jump. And he was on, isn't he adorable? When I was a kid, we had a pond in our backyard, and I used to catch bullfrogs. They were so cute. And this is what I mean about kids. They love animals. I used to catch cute little baby bullfrogs, hang out with them for the day, and put them back in the pond. And get ready for a big leap because, again, this card being a jumper, now it didn't actually jump out of the deck this time. It didn't need to because when I picked up the cards, it was right on the bottom. But I looked at the picture and I just felt this card was jumping out with another message. Now, we just had the squirrel with this message of preparation for big changes. So, our frog is going to say, clear out the clutter. And I have been decluttering my house, rearranging rooms, making things flow better, the energy's flowing better. So, if you're listening to this message and saying, well, how can I clear clutter out to prepare for big changes? That's a place to start if you don't know any other place in your life. Work on your home. Maybe just go through and do a decluttering, pass on to your Goodwill anything you no longer need. Clearing ties with, I think a lot of you are doing, and the angels are like, you are rocking this process. If you have been severing cords to relationships that are no longer in your highest good, excellent job, keep doing that. That's part of clearing out the clutter of your mind and your heart. So sometimes there needs to be a vacuum when you've eliminated relationships that are no longer good for you and maybe for the other party. But prepare for those big changes, because if you've been doing that, let's say for the last 6 months, last 6 years even, it is time for those new, very positive, fulfilling, healthy, happy, and exciting relationships to come in. So that frog is going to say, make room. Make room because it's time. It's time for that harvest. So our squirrel and our frog are really partnering together today to say, prepare for those big changes. One great way is to clear any clutter out of your life and just be ready. So I hope this message resonates with you this week. Pair this with our 3-card reading that will drop at 3:33 p.m. over YouTube, an angel number. Look at these together. They're going to sync up. And everybody, thank you so much for being here. Much peace, much love, and namaste. Happy summer.